Welcome to the Scottsdale Vibes Podcast. I'm Alicia Haygood. We always ask the question at the end of every episode, what is your favorite Scottsdale vibe? And over the past 5.5 years of doing this podcast, the number one answer is the restaurant scene. So I'm so excited today to have George Frasher with us, who's been in the restaurant scene for decades here in Scottsdale, seen it change, evolve, grow. And I'm excited to introduce you to him and really hear the history of how some of this got started. But first, let's check in with our favorite State Farm agent, Jeremy Mueller. It is August, which means one thing for all the parents: the kids are back in school. This is why my smile is bigger, my attitude has changed, and my kids are happy as well. And one thing that we can all prepare for is getting ready our kids to move out as well and go to college. So congratulations to all you freshmen out there and returning students to college. With that comes responsibility and probably more money, parents, as we prepare our kids for insurance and keeping them safe outside, which is why we have Jeremy Mueller with State Farm Insurance with us. Jeremy, you're a pro at this as your son is starting at his sophomore year. You have an older daughter as well. How can we prepare to send them off on their own into the world and make sure that we don't have to pay extra at the end?
Yeah, super exciting. So freshman parents have it a little easier because they're usually, you have to stay in a dorm or like a fraternity or sorority or something like that. And so generally, there's not too much to be concerned about. Normal homeowners will cover you there.
Yeah.
Vehicles, depends if you take a vehicle to campus or not. So, that's super important. Make sure you're covered there. But it's the older kids, right? Because that's your first lease that your name is on, and you probably need a small renter's policy, which is super cheap no matter where you go, and it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. All right, so keep that safe as everything is coming for that. When these kids, let's talk about kids that graduate college, but we're still on our insurance until 26, how that works as well, coming home from being away and changing that up.
Yeah, well, hopefully they're graduating at 22, not 26. But no changes as long as they're still in the household. But if you did, like, say they went to Europe or something for the year, and then they're coming back and you removed them from your policy, super important to put them back on there.
Okay. Something that happened in my neighborhood, and I want to bring this up to you. We've kind of talked about this in the past. I needed a refresher myself. These houses in North Scottsdale are getting older. We're 20, 30 years old. We all have sprinkler system, fire alarm system. The house across the street from me is a snowbird, and their sprinkler system busted while they were not there.
Wow.
And now they had 3 inches worth of water damage. How do we protect ourselves, be prepared, and prevent this possibly from happening?
Yeah, it's tough. So it started the sprinkler ordinance was in the 80s, and so it started like in the Gainey Ranch area. Some of those houses went through it first, but now we're starting to see it North Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Where our houses are 30, 40 years old, right? And it's really tough. You can get those tested, but the reality is no one does it.
Right.
But you are covered. Just make sure if you are a winter visitor, you're checking on your house. So just have someone check on that house.
Yeah.
So all that stuff is covered. That is the definition of sudden and accidental sprinkler pops. It happens more than you'd think.
Yeah.
But usually there's a cause. So notoriously, if you have a contractor that's not like a DirecTV person or a solar panel person or someone that's not used to Scottsdale building ordinance, those are the ones we've seen that cause the most damage. And then they're all independent. DirecTV was notorious for it. We don't see that much anymore because most people are doing Wi-Fi with their streaming services or whatever. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's not fun either.
No, it is not fun.
I'm so glad it wasn't me.
Yeah.
As we get the kids back into school, tell me something fun you did over the summer to kind of get out of the heat here in Scottsdale.
We did go to Europe for a week.
Did you get the heat wave there?
We got the heat wave, yeah.
So you didn't escape one, you went to another.
But it was fun coming back.
Yeah.
I liked coming back on U.S. soil. I'm a United States person. So.
I love it. All right. Check out Jeremy on if you have any home, auto, life, or business insurance need. Jeremy has 3 convenient offices located here and around town. You can call him. You can find him at jeremymueller.com or give him a call. Here we go. I'm coming up. We have it at 480-515-5223. As you heard, Jeremy has been in the community his whole life, born and raised here in Scottsdale. I promise you can take care of all your needs. For more than 25 years, George Frasher has been a part of the Scottsdale restaurant scene, and his story is a story about Scottsdale in and of itself. From his early days to learning the restaurant and wine business to opening Frasher's Tavern in the heart of Old Town, he has watched this city, restaurants, and visions change dramatically over the years. Frasher's has become a Scottsdale institution, and George has built a reputation around great steaks, classic cocktails, wine, hospitality, and just a great evening. But there's others fascinating piece of Georgia's history, and that's baseball, which is so well connected here in Scottsdale as well. On site is a remarkable connection to Scottsdale baseball's history, and they recently opened the Baseball Memorabilia Museum inside the restaurant. It is amazing when you walk through, every wall has some story and history behind it. It just can create the story and the conversation for you and your party that night. I love it. It's just 100 feet from where Hall of Famer Jim Palmer once pitched, and the collection really highlights everything that Scottsdale baseball represents. So today we're going to talk restaurants, baseball, Old Town Scottsdale, entrepreneurship, and the changes, Georgia, you have seen over the decades here. So I know it took a lot. I probably answered all the questions with just that amazing introduction, but
Well,
I really
you.
I want to start at the beginning. We were talking a little bit earlier. What about food and the restaurant business really secured you into this for your career?
So it's what I've wanted to do since I was a little kid.
You have, yeah.
So I can remember being a 5-year-old kid. I was a only child, single parent, made breakfast for my mom in bed when I was about 5, ended up setting off all the smoke alarms. She came running downstairs, and I'm like, no, go back to bed. I'm finishing up. And she's like, you're burning the damn house down. So my mother was a school teacher, so had to fend for myself a lot. So she taught me to cook from a young age.
I love that. So you love the restaurant. I mean, you love the food scene from the beginning. You come to Scottsdale. Let's talk about opening up in Scottsdale. Why Scottsdale did you choose to really start your legendary restaurants and your name in the scene?
Well, so I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. So I learned how to cook on the riverboats on the Mississippi River just underneath the arch. I actually worked at the Gateway Arch as a teenager.
St. Louis,
Yes, St. Louis, Missouri. I have a 4-year hospitality degree from the University of Missouri-Columbia, the Mizzou Tigers. And
welcome to the SEC. I'll take you.
tough. We're hoping to get 5 wins this year, and all we're doing is playing SEC teams.
Here we go. Yeah.
They ranked, so it just came out, they ranked Missouri 10th in the SEC and 25th in the nation.
For now.
That's how tough the SEC is.
Yeah, I know.
Missouri's going to be 10th place in the SEC, and they're going to be 25th overall.
My 2 teams are ranked in the top 10, but that's fine. Go Bulldogs and go Ole Miss. We digress.
We have Ole Miss's old quarterback.
Yeah.
So after Missouri, Mizzou, I worked for KC Masterpiece, the barbecue sauce. They had some restaurants. I went to the Country Club Plaza and opened up their restaurant there. It's now a Jack Stack's on the plaza in Kansas City. Went back to St. Louis, ran a fine dining steakhouse while I was there. My old boss at KC Masterpiece was running a chain out here, called El Paso Barbecue. Came out, I worked for them for 3 years, left and opened my own place. When I left St. Louis was the 13th largest city in the country. Phoenix was like 19th. Now Phoenix is like 6th.
Yeah, it's a top 10.
And St. Louis is like 30th. So I looked all around in St. Louis and here, and I just fell in love with it here and decided to open my own restaurant here. So in 1999, we opened the first Frasher's on Scottsdale Road, and that had 3 concepts underneath one roof. So I did barbecue, I did fine dining steaks, and then I do these St. Louis specialty items that I'm still doing today. We ship in an appetizer called toasted raviolis. We have a thin crust pizza that has this cheese called Provel cheese, indigenous to St. Louis.
I heard you're the only person that sells it here in town that has it, right? The original?
We're for sure one of the only ones. I'm in town here, and for that matter, throughout the country.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Okay.
So it's a real thin crust. We ship the cheese. It's called Provel cheese. It's white cheddar, Swiss, and provolone.
Ooh.
Was invented in St. Louis in like around 1950.
Okay.
Toasted raviolis invented in like 1948.
So good.
On the Hill in St. Louis. And then we do gooey butter cake as a dessert. So that's a breakfast cake in St. Louis. That was invented in like the 1930s.
I'll eat breakfast for cake. I love it.
Right? My mom thought I was crazy making that into a dessert. So we make it a little gooier, and then I made a Bailey's butterscotch caramel sauce that we drizzle over the top.
Yeah. Still great for morning time. It's fine.
It is. It's awesome. It really is. So So we were on Scottsdale Road, 1999. We ended up losing our lease in 2015. Actually, May 30th of 2015, we opened up on Indian School Road and 32nd Street on June 8th, 2015. So I was planning on operating both restaurants, so I branched off the barbecue and just opened up a little barbecue joint at 32nd Street and Indian School.
Well, I was going to ask how you went from 3 underneath one umbrella, and now you have 2, right? And so
I have 2 Frasers, and I have 1 Mrs. Chicken.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because sometimes people will tell you you have too many choices. That's what makes a restaurant go down. Focus on your task and go. You have more than one thing you're great at, so it worked.
It does. We're very fortunate. So when we opened up the barbecue place, I really got into barbecue. Like, I threw myself into it, and I've been a barbecue judge all over the country, continuing educating myself on different techniques and what people like in Georgia is different from what they like in Mississippi, in Mississippi and in
Carolinas, Tennessee, I mean everywhere. Yeah,
Memphis, Kansas City, and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the barbecue place, and then we're serving the St. Louis items over there. They're over 32nd Street and Indian School.
Okay.
So we're in the process of changing the name from Frasher's Smokehouse to Frasher's Barbecue and St. Louis Pizza. I've never advertised the pizza. It's just been kind of word of mouth.
Yeah.
And it represents about 20% of my menu mix. So I'm like, I might as well lean into it and let people know that I'm serving St. Louis pizza.
It really was. When I told people I was talking to you today, that's what they brought up was the pizza and the cheese. Was everyone, and the gooey cakes. Everyone,
right.
Everyone talks about Frasher's, Tavern being the best place to go and have a great meal with somebody. So I want to talk about that too. You have amazing baseball memorabilia here at Frasher's. Some one-of-a-kind items from friendships and people that you've known through the decades. Let's talk about, because Scottsdale's a huge connection to baseball. What's your connection to it, and how did you and why bring that into Frasher's?
So Frasher's Tavern, I have caricatures of all the celebrities who have come into the restaurant.
Yeah.
We've been in the heart of Scottsdale for Labor Day will be our 27th anniversary.
Congratulations,
so
that's
September
huge.
3rd, yeah. Very excited about
Yeah.
that. And so this group, the Arizona Baseball Legacy Experience, approached me last October about doing this museum. I have lots of memorabilia on my own. They actually took over my St. Louis room. So where the museum is now used to be my St. Louis room. So I took down my St. Louis memorabilia, and I have another 80 artifacts at my house. Jeez. So when I partnered with them, I planned on them putting it in for a short period of time, and then I would take their stuff out and put my stuff in. But it's such an amazing museum, and my favorite part about the museum is the stories that are told. People just come in and it reminds them of their childhood. And I'll tell you about a baseball that we're going to be getting here soon that is very unique, speaking of one of a kind.
Yeah.
But just to finish on the baseball museum, so they approached me in October. By February, we had this baseball museum up, and it just is Scottsdale baseball, Arizona baseball, and kind of gives the history. We have the home plate from the original Scottsdale Stadium, so that's where the Giants spring training is now.
Yeah, very cool.
So that was 1956. The Scottsdale Historical Society just donated Dave Righetti, who is a pitching coach for the San Francisco Giants, his locker from that original stadium. So we have that as soon as you walk in the door at the restaurant. It's right next to my Busch Stadium seats.
Yeah.
So I still have some of my St. Louis memorabilia in there too. But the Scottsdale baseball is just amazing, and we have a tribute to all the high schools and players that have come up over the years and played in the majors and in college baseball.
I think what I love about it too, and you kind of said this, was it's a conversation starter too, right? And it's been crazy. You say sometimes you'll be walking around the restaurant hearing the people's stories, and they're talking about the characters of the people. They're talking about the memorabilia, like you just said. I think it's incredible because we do have such a hard time sometimes with people, to have a conversation starter right there in front of you, and then it just blows from there.
It's truly amazing. I just people coming in and talking about when they met Willie Mays, and they're telling their friends about the stories that they when they met Willie Mays or when they met Tim Lincecum.
Yeah.
And so that's old players and new players. And I had a guy who recalled a catch that he saw in right field, and he threw him out at home plate, and he's telling people this story, and nobody's ever heard of this story, but he remembers it because he was at that game, and it's just the stories that people are able to tell people. So I'm going to tell you about this baseball that we're going to be getting. So October 3rd, 1951, there was a game that had this home run shot called the shot heard around the world. And Bobby Thompson, who played for the New York Giants at the time, that are the San Francisco Giants, they were playing against the Brooklyn Dodgers, which are now the LA Dodgers. And in 1951, in August, with like 30 games left to play, San Francisco Giants were out of first place by 13 and a half games. So
that's a lot.
The Dodgers thought they had it wrapped up. The Giants went on a crazy spree and won like 28 of their last 32 games to cause this playoff game. In this game, the Dodgers were winning the entire game 4-1. Then in the 8th inning, became 4-2. The Giants scored, and then in the bottom of the 9th inning, Bobby Thompson hits this home run. And the ball hasn't been recovered, but they have his bat and his jersey are in Cooperstown. This ball that we're getting was in Cooperstown for 3 years. And there's a guy who, so the Giant spring training was out in Casa Grande, Casa Grande, and we have a tribute to that at the museum. And their trainer retired out there, and he was... this guy who has the ball now was given to it by the trainer's wife when the trainer passed away.
No way.
And it's signed by all of the 1951
team?
Yes. So, and that was the year that Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays, that was his rookie season. They have, the entire team signed it. So this ball is authentically signed 1951. This guy is claiming that it was the baseball, and he has some artifacts that corroborate that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have the baseball at first. I mean, if that was the baseball, I didn't know about this story, and I started reading about it. That ball will be worth over like $3 million. And I'm like, we ain't keeping that in my restaurant, man. I feel a little more comfortable that this is an authentic baseball from the 1951 season.
Yeah.
But it's not the baseball.
Okay.
So they're still, right now, scientists have the baseball, and we're going to find out on October 3rd if it is the baseball. They're
going to do a big reveal at the event.
Yes. So we're flying in Bobby Thompson's 2 daughters. They're coming in for the event. It's going to be at Scottsdale Stadium, and then we're going to have a reception at Frasher's Tavern afterwards.
October 3rd.
October 3rd.
Okay, we'll have to advertise that to make sure we get people out there and do it, yeah.
It's pretty cool. So it's a 75-year anniversary.
Right.
So I have this regular Fred, who's 88 years old, and I came in and asked him about the story. He grew up in Brooklyn. He's lived in California, so he's a Brooklyn Dodgers fan. I asked him about this baseball. He's from Brooklyn. He had some few choice words to say when I asked him about it. And he's like, of course I know that baseball. He goes, I was 12 years old, walking home from school, listening to the radio on my handset, tears running down my cheek because he was a Dodgers fan and the Giants knocked him out and they went to play the New York Yankees in the World Series. So we're getting that baseball.
Did Fred come back after that story?
Fred luckily comes back every day. But it inspired him for like 3 days. He's like, I'll tell you how much that ball's worth. And he's like, I got 3 guys that are going to put up $1 million, and then we're going to take that ball outside and shoot it. So here it is 75 years later, and he's still upset about that baseball.
I love that, too. It's the 75-year anniversary of Scottsdale. It's the 75th anniversary of that game and everything. I feel like every timing is just impeccable. Your anniversary, 27th anniversary, in September. It's a big year for all of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's talk a little bit. I want to dive in a little bit more to your specialty of the restaurants. talk about what makes them so unique and why you have been able to last decades at a time, because that is so incredibly hard to do, and especially here in Scottsdale, I feel like. What makes you stand out?
So I would say number one, hospitality. I go around and talk to all the tables. But number two, and more importantly, is the quality of the food. And I'm consistently told this is the best steak I've ever had. This is the best pork chop I've ever had. And that's, I mean, to hear that over and over again is just, I mean, it's heartwarming. It's.
How do you find the best?
So we buy Iowa premium meat, aged 28 days. So they come from independent ranchers in and around 100 miles of Iowa. Yeah, so I've been always buying Midwestern corn-fed beef, Nebraska, Kansas. But they've been getting bought up, and they're large conglomerates now. And so when I had the opportunity and found out about this program that's independent ranchers that they go and buy the meat from, and then they source it out here to us. So it's good quality meat.
You're still supporting the local business and the local farmer, rancher.
So, and then we age at 28 days. The steakhouse that I learned how to do steaks in St. Louis has this steak sauce. It's called Andrea's steak sauce. Isn't that funny? Everything has two names. I say Casa Grande. Could be Frasher's, could be Frasher's.
I was about to get that one, yeah.
So this is Andrea's steak sauce. So I make a steak sauce that's similar to that. So the Andrea's steak sauce has been around since the 80s. And Sam Andreas was a musician in St. Louis.
Okay.
And he invented this steak sauce that they sell in the grocery stores. And, I mean, you can buy it out here at Walmart.
Okay.
And so being in college, I took that sauce and brought it to my college professor, my nutritionist, and we dissected it, and then I came up with my own recipe that's very similar to theirs.
That's awesome.
So I've been making my own steak sauce out here for 30 years. I moved here in 95. I had it at my house. I knew I was always going to use it again. And then when we opened up in 99, I've been basting that on our steaks. So we get good quality meat. We put it on a charcoal grill.
Yum.
We baste it with a steak sauce. At the very end, we take some clarified butter, pour it over the top of the steak so a flame comes up, puts a little crust on the steak. And the first time you bite into it, you're like, this is the best steak I've ever had.
Just melts, literally tender and
really
everything.
It really does. And our pork chop, the same. I am told at least once a week it's the best pork chop I've ever had.
I love
and
that.
we baste it with a steak sauce.
Okay.
It just complements the meat really well.
Let's talk about the restaurant scene as a whole here in Scottsdale. What is your opinion about it? We are expanding a lot. There's still so many local mom and pop chefs and owners, which I think is what makes us stand out and unique too. How have you seen it change since you started in 99?
There's so much change. I mean, I can name 4 restaurants that closed last week here that have new ones coming in.
Yeah.
And some of them have been around for 30 years. So I just stay true to the quality of meat, the quality of service. I'm pretty fortunate. I train my staff, and they stay with me. Ramon, who's my chef over in the barbecue place, he just celebrated his 25th anniversary with me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, May 11th. So, and Mario, my smoker, has been with me for 17 years. Zero's been with me for 13. Pedro's the new kid on the block over there. He celebrated his 12th anniversary.
I was going to say 10. Is that like the baby?
So, and Marco, my chef in Scottsdale, I just promoted him to oversee all 3 of the kitchens for me.
Wow.
So we can keep those same standards. It is.
From the quality of food that you purchase from those local ranchers to the quality of people that work with you. It speaks down from the top to the bottom, it sounds like.
It really does. So I just try to stay true to what we do and pleasing people. And we've been fortunate that people keep coming back.
Yeah. So we have Frasher's, the steakhouse. You're doing a chicken and custard, because I just learned that you're a scoop master now too. Is this? I feel like this is kind of like clown school. Like I
am a graduate. I have a certificate from Scoop School. was Frozen Custard Institute. Coincidentally, it was in St. Louis, Missouri.
I love it.
So I went back. It was last May.
Okay.
And been working on my recipe, and I actually just brought back some vanilla from my trip in Cancun.
Ooh, yum.
And it's indigenous to that area. Vanilla was only grown in Mexico for hundreds of years. They couldn't get it to grow anywhere. I did learn in Scoop School vanilla is the second most expensive ingredient behind saffron.
Huh.
And it's because it's so hard to pollinate. Vanilla only pollinates 1 day out of the entire year.
Oh, goodness.
So if you miss it, you got to wait 365 days to pollinate it again. And so they were only able to grow it in Mexico in the last 50 to 60 years. It's now, there's Madagascar, there's about 4 different places.
Okay.
But this is where it originated from. I brought some vanilla back, and I was originally buying my vanilla from a 4th generation place in St. Louis. That actually their first spot was on the Arch grounds, and when the Arch came, they had to move their location. But now I'm getting it from the source in Mexico. So it has changed the custard. I'm very excited about it.
So hot chicken custard. We'll have the Smokehouse barbecue, my favorite too, and the steakhouse. What excites you in this industry still, because you're still evolving and ever changing? So how do you keep up with it by still sticking with your values, morals, and standards of the business and of quality?
I'm always in for, so like this trip to Cancun, I always make it a little educational for myself. And
I love
so we got to see them make chocolate and how they've been making it for hundreds of years down there, and the natives to the island, and the vanilla, and just always trying to make our product a little bit more unique and a little better. I mean, I got that cheese that I import. Now we have this vanilla that nobody else is using because they're buying it from the United States, and we're getting it directly from Mexico.
What's next for you?
So we have, so we are in the process of rebranding all 3 restaurants. So I have Frasher's Smokehouse, which we're rebranding to Frasher's Barbecue and St. Louis Pizza.
Okay.
That's at 32nd Street and Indian School. Well, actually Indian School and 32nd Street, because on 32nd Street and Indian School, 6 buildings away is Mrs. Chicken, and we just added Mr. Custard there.
Mr. Custard, I love it,
Yeah, so we have our little mascot is Colonel Custard.
I love it.
And that's another unique thing of all my logos. They've all been friends who, the first Mrs. Chicken logo was the very first male server that I hired in 1999 at the old Frasher's. He came back to teach a class. He's been working for Disney for 25 years, and he came back to teach a class at ASU, came into my barbecue place as I was developing Mrs. Chicken, and I was like, he drew me my first kids menu. Aww. And I go, what do you think about drawing a Mrs. Chicken logo? So I went, there is actually, you can see live chickens on the street at like 28th Street and Earl, down in about 2 miles south of the restaurants. And I went down there and took a picture of a chicken and brought it back to Clint and asked him to draw me Mrs. Chicken. The guy who drew Mr. Custard, he actually went to my same high school. He came out here to work for Panera, and he's been coming into my restaurant. I didn't know he was a caricature drawing, and the lady who drew the characters in Scottsdale, she passed away, and so I was looking for a new caricature guy, and he kept bringing in these, when Comic-Con's in town, he brought me 3 guys that have been the guys drawing Batman for the last 40 years.
Oh my God! So he didn't bring you anybody. Like.
I mean, the one guy drew on my bathroom.
Yeah.
I have chalkboards in the restroom at the barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
And he drew a Batman for me.
Incredible.
It really is. And so I was like, Chuck, why do you do all this Comic-Con stuff? And he's like, I've been drawing since I was a kid. So there's Six Flags of Mid-America in St. Louis. He was a caricature artist as a teenager out there at Six Flags.
Oh my gosh, perfect.
And so I just knew him from coming in my restaurant, and then found out we went to the same high school. And then, so he drew Colonel Custard for me.
Amazing. So, I mean, everything is intimate. Everything is family, friends. And I think that's where the flavor comes from. Like, genuinely, when they say you cook with love, like, it really is about that. And it's about everything you bring into the kitchen, from the front desk, you know, for everybody. It makes a difference in that sense.
Exactly.
What is one simple piece of advice you can give to someone who says, I can't cook?
Have me do it for you.
All right, that's fair. I walked right into that one. You've come a long way, George, since you started burning down your house at 5 years old to like owning 3 restaurants and being hugely successful. This is my favorite question, like I said at the beginning of the show, but what is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
Favorite Scottsdale vibe? That is a good question. Wow.
It's so funny. It's the one, I think it's the easiest question, but it stumps everybody. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we just surpassed Nashville as the #1 bridal destination. When I first moved here, we surpassed Beverly Hills in being the largest breast augmentations.
Okay. Really putting our name out there for things I know.
I mean, I'm a restaurant junkie, so I go out all the time. I was having dinner with my friend Brian last night, and he's like, "You like to go out to places like when they first open?" And I'm like, "Well, there's so many of them. I do." And so I try to take Mondays off. I usually work 7 days a week, but
Yeah.
I try to take Mondays off, and then my girlfriend Julie and I will go out to dinner on Monday nights, and we'll go out and experience the scene.
Yeah.
So I like to go out there and see what is
You like
happening.
to feel it like the consumer does, like
Yeah,
we do.
exactly.
I love that. That's amazing. Well, I appreciate you feeding us, taking care of us, and really, it's so hard to do what you do and to stay consistently on top of your game while also continuing to grow and change and evolve with the restaurant scene in Scottsdale as a whole. I think it's remarkable what you've done. So
Thank you.
please go check them out. There was so much to eat. Go hungry at any of the 3 places, or as you say, you could go try all 3 places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would totally do a sponge cake for breakfast.
Thank you.
We will have more. You can check out Frasher's Tavern and George. Go check out the baseball memorabilia. It is absolutely amazing. As someone who doesn't know a lot about baseball history, I was fascinated by it. And like I said, go hungry and be ready for a conversation. You're going to learn something at all times. Have a wonderful week, Scottsdale. Keep vibing, and I'll see you around town.